today I really want to talk about happy is my default. There's just certain things that I think that people don't think about, that they really do have a lot of choice and agency that they can have in their own lives. And so one of those things is I decided that I was going to make happy my default. Hi, my name's Archield, and I'm your guide when you play at the intersection of spirituality, lifestyle, and business. Today, we're going to talk about 11 ways to choose happiness. I decided, even when I was super depressed, I'm not going to lie, this is a decision I made a long time ago when my first daughter passed. So this was a long time ago. And I was really upset. I'd been depressed for a few years. And I just finally decided that I was going to make happy my default. Now, did happy happen overnight? No. Happy did not happen overnight. It was a process. It was definitely a process that went along for a while. But what it taught me is, over time, that I can decide what my default is. I can decide how to respond to things. I have some agency on how my life is and what I do with it. Now, did I always take advantage of that agency all this time, these 20 odd years? No, I did not. Like you, I'm not a perfect person. I don't always think of things in the moment. But it started with that. I decided happiness was going to be my default. And every day, because that was what I determined, every day I looked for happy. Every day I looked for a reason to smile. And slowly but surely, more reasons came about. Slowly but surely, over time, not only did more reasons come about to smile, but all of a sudden, it was shocking to me when I was upset. It was shocking to me when I would get down. So then, after happy being my default really was working, then I had to decide on how quickly I could get back to happy, right? Because, and I'm not, let me say this, I'm not saying that other emotions are bad. I think other emotions are actually great. It's great to be angry sometimes. It's great to be sad sometimes. It's great to have this whole cornucopia of emotions that we have as human beings, because that's part of the human experience. But I liked choosing to be happy most of the time. And so that was my default. And so what I would notice is I could still very easily slip into depression. Even now, I can easily slip into depression. So I have to decide how quickly, this is a new decision, how quickly can I get back to happy? Is it that I need to go into depression and spiral and be there for weeks and months and years? That's what could happen before. Or can I lessen that? So over time, instead of being depressed for like a year or so, it got to be a month, and then a couple of weeks, and then a couple of days, and then I could feel it coming. I could recognize my patterns, right? I could feel it coming. And depending on what it was, I mean, some things do just take you out. It just does. It triggers old stuff. It could really take you out. Like when my grandfather passed, it really triggered all the emotions I had from when my daughter passed, right? And so a lot happened then, and I was probably in a more of a sincere funk for a longer time than was typical for me. So there's always going to be those things that are going to throw you out of pattern, right? But recognizing when something's coming, if you have the ability to recognize, death is always usually something that's a surprise. If you can recognize something's coming, you can start preparing for it. So do that. So there's going to be certain signs your body will give you when you're heading down the funk path. So start recognizing your triggers, start recognizing those signs so that you can do the things that get you back to happy, those things that are tried and true, that make you smile, that help you see the lighter side of life, those questions you can ask yourself help you see things in a different light so you don't just wallow in it. I think a lot of what happens, it's especially for me, I've seen this happen with clients as they wallow in it. They get so stuck in focusing on what's depressing them that they can't work themselves back out. They can't see anything else that's even a possibility. Kicking in, latching on, leaning in to possibility, I think it's one of the things that helps you move out of depression. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be on antidepressants or seeing a therapist or working with a coach like me, right? I'm just saying these are some things that worked for me without having to resort to other things. If I could head it off at the pass, if I could see it coming, I could maybe go through, feel the emotions, which I found was a huge part of what I need to do. Go through and feel all the emotions around it so it wouldn't overwhelm me. It's when I kind of bottled it, didn't want to deal with it. All of a sudden, all that emotion would overwhelm me and I'd be sunk, right? So I learned how to let the emotion come, how to look at it, how to see what it was about and deal with it in that capacity, so that it wasn't overwhelming, so that it didn't take me down into the super depths of depression that were harder to climb back up from. So with that kind of more shallow dive, some of the other things I would do, watch funny movies, take a shower, go out in nature, all those things were very easy things for me to do to bring myself out of a funk. But one of those definitely is seeing possibility. If you can't see possibilities, that's when you dive deeper into depression. So you've got to see all the possibilities. Sometimes it's hard when you're sad and other people are happy and you get angry with them. Let me know if you've ever had that happen. And so one of the other things I would say is try to see yourself getting angry with other people just because they're happy, just because they're not suffering in the same way you are. And so let that be like a red flag to know, whoa, jump back to possibilities. Whoa, see what are some other things that are good about life. Even if it's like, I can breathe clean air and drink water and eat food. Like, get back on that. Get back on the gratitude wagon. Like I said, lean back into possibility. Lean into all those things. All right. So that is how I essentially not only made happy my default, which was a journey I started over 20 years ago. Really, like 25. That seems crazy. Am I that old? Okay, a long time ago, I started that journey to make happy my default. And then not only to make it my default, but to make it to where I got back to it faster than before, whether it was depression or anger or whatever the other emotions were, so I could get back to happy faster. So I hope that helped you. If you have any questions, I would love to know them. Go ahead and comment. Peace, joy, love to you. If you find that not only is life a bit overwhelming at times, but that business is also overwhelming at times, I would love to invite you to my Banish Business Overwhelm Masterclass. In the Masterclass, you're going to learn the number one reason your business feels exhausting, the 3 archetypes that are stealing your dream life and thriving business right from under your nose, and the secret no one is talking about that allows you to absolutely stay in flow. Make sure to check out in the description. I have a link that'll take you straight to the masterclass, and I look forward to seeing you there.